It's the pop culture field, and you will.
Hello and welcome everybody to the Pop Culture Field Manual Podcast, sitting right at the intersection of weapons, action, the military, and pop culture. Now, if you will, please forgive us because Israel and I feel a little bit under the weather, but that's not going to stop us from talking about the Wild West.
We sacrifice our bodies for you and the Wild West, apparently.
Yeah, especially the Wild West, because A, it's wild, and I'm wild, and so are the listeners that listen to this podcast.
You guys are pretty wild. We know some of you. You're pretty wild.
Yeah, and you know what was wild, Izzy?
The West?
No.
Oh.
Our Patreon event that
we
just
that's right.
had. That was super fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was. We watched American Ninja with our Patreon lifers. It was an awesome time, so if you're interested in participating in the next one, we highly encourage you guys. Check out our Patreon. It was a blast, and we hope to see a couple of you on the future movie night. Also, if you want to continue to help this podcast, make sure you guys are buying us coffees at Buy Me a Coffee. All donations go directly back into the podcast to help us produce it and make it as good as possible. Now, today we're doing something different. We're recording this remotely because obviously Izzy and I are sick, so we're hoping it goes well. It's different. It's our first time doing this, but you guys be the judge and let us know if A, we can keep this up if anything bad happens, or B, you hate this and you want to see it die real quickly, and then we'll try to figure it out.
Give it about 4 episodes.
Yeah, give it about 4 episodes because that's what we're going to be putting out.
That's what we do. We record about 4 episodes per session, so it'll be a week for you, but it's only going to be a couple hours for us. So
exactly. But okay, I mean that's the only thing we really need to talk. Unless you want to, hey Izzy, where can they find you if they are sick of this podcast? But
if you just can't stand the sound and sight of Cameron, you can go over to twitch.tv/myhappyself. I stream 3 days a week. It's a good time. Yeah, then you'll hear and see me more than Cameron, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, it's always a great thing. But in case you're like tired of Izzy and just don't even want to see what he's got going on, head on over to Kick God Apparel and see what streetwear I'm working on. That's a cool brand. If you guys want to support me and wear some badass clothing, check out Kick God Apparel on Instagram or www.kickgodapparel.com to see what's going on. Working on some new things. Just pay attention to that. But without further ado, that's my impression of like that terrible.
You went old school, man. I'm proud of you.
I did, but I honestly am not a Westerns fan. I know like a handful. The only one I need to know is Tombstone.
That's right, man. You want to start there?
Western. Sure, we might as well. That's the only Western that I've watched multiple times.
What do you like about it?
I like Doc Holliday's character.
Val Kilmer?
Yeah, Val Kilmer. I think that's just like such an iconic role. Plus, I mean, it shows the the gunfights. It has all aspects of like what a great Western, in my opinion, should have.
Has that walk, when they're walking down to the OK Corral, they're all walking in a line.
Yeah, not to mention I love the scene, or not Doc Holliday's character, but who's the other big hitter in that movie?
Kurt Russell is. Oh, geez, my brain doesn't work. You guys are yelling at your radios right now.
Exactly.
Doc Holliday and not Butch Cassidy. No, that's a different movie.
No. Kurt Russell's character.
I want
to talk about the scene where the guy's being an asshole at the poker table.
Dude, and that's that's oh, jeez. Yeah, I know. I can't remember anything.
Izzy's not on his game today.
Not on my game. Hold on. IMDb will save me. Wyatt Earp walks in, and he messes with Billy Bob Thornton. That's Billy Bob Thornton, like before he lost all his weight.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amy, let me know, because I'm playing with my Tor knife here, if we can still do this on YouTube, because I'm super bored and I'm doing stuff with my hands.
I think you're good. I can't hear anything.
Okay, well, it's fine. It's just for the video. But anyways, yeah, dude, I love when he goes in the bar and that guy's just being Billy Bob Thornton's character is just being a raging asshole, and he goes over and just starts slapping the crap out of him. He just starts slapping him, and he makes him a little boy, and then he tries to do stuff outside, and he sees that Doc Holliday's buddy with him, and he just like steps off.
Yep. Yeah, he's
That's
like,
real man.
I'm sorry, I forgot you were there. You may go now.
I'm sorry. You may go now. All right. Yeah, no. Tombstone is one of the movies I do like. What do you like about Tombstone, dude?
Well, I mean, it's like you were saying, it's one of Val Kilmer's best roles, besides Matt Mardigan from Willow. But I mean, it's got Sam Elliott, who is Mr. Western. Like, I don't think he can play anything else but somebody in a Western because he's got that deep voice.
Yeah.
and he's just synonymous with. He's got that mustache and stuff like that. Like even when he's not in a Western, like in The Big Lebowski, he's still in a Western. It becomes a Western when he's in it.
It becomes a Western. I feel like a big thing, just what defines a Western, is facial hair.
Facial hair, yeah. Everybody has awesome facial hair in that one.
Even like what is that one comedy that was done by the creator of Family Guy? What is it? Farley? No.
Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane. What is that? 1,000 Ways to Die in the West.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
The parody.
Like that. The parody, which is actually I think is really funny. I rewatched it the other day, and like who is the gay actor that always plays a womanizer?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know.
From How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, from How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, Doogie Howser. Yeah, I mean that's not his name, but yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, NPH, Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, he's like the facial hair guy, and he's like, facial hair is a sign of class because it takes a lot of money to like upkeep your facial hair. So I think that's a silly part because obviously you need to have a killer mustache in the Wild West. Takes you need your beeswax, you need all your facial product. Like today we just have those beard oils and whatnot, but back then
all you had
clean,
was cow fat. You just slather a bunch of cow fat onto your face, and that was all
not
you
to mention
had.
to be like a clean, hygienic person costed money. So like to have like a nice upkept facial beard or mustache, facial hair, you need to be in some sort of financial position to support that. So I think that's funny.
Yeah, I think I think part of it. What I like about the movies, it's just the performances. Like Stephen Lang, he's Ike Clanton. He's the law dog. Law just don't go around here, law dog. And he's like instantly like every time the tables turn, he's either a coward or he's like in your face, super overconfident. Yeah. And I think, and he's done amazing work ever since then. But I didn't know who he was at the time. I've since gone back and watched the movie. I'm like, dude, this guy's a legend, man. Ike Clanton.
Well, I think Tombstone in itself is a legend, and it seems like everybody's seen it too. There's no like spin-offs of Tombstone, is there? Like same universe?
No, I mean there was I think it was Kevin Costner who started a movie around the same time. They used to do this thing where they would make a couple of the movies about almost the same thing, so there was a movie called Wyatt Earp, which was about Wyatt Earp, and I think it was either Jeff Bridges or Kevin Costner. But anyway, like that came out around the same time. And like they had the disaster movies, the meteor disaster movies came out at the same time. They always kind of like used to draft off each other.
Jeff Bridges, the CrossFitter.
Jeff Bridges does CrossFit.
Isn't there a Jeff Bridges that is like a former Navy SEAL?
Oh, I think you're thinking of like it's like it's like Todd Bridges or something like that. Yeah.
It's some Bridges. Josh Bridges.
Josh Bridges. He's like a Navy SEAL, right?
Yeah, he's a former SEAL. He like when he like set the record for Murph after a Canadian won it at the CrossFit Games, and he like was like, never again. Because
only an American will hold the wrestle.
Only American can hold that title.
The title, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff. Okay, nobody cares about CrossFit.
Yeah, nobody cares about CrossFit. Just Israel because he's level 2 certified.
Yeah, not anymore. My certification expired, so I no longer am qualified to coach CrossFit.
No way.
Yep, that's it.
How will you survive?
Guess I'll just have to go into content creation.
Guess you might just have to start a podcast or like have a YouTube page or something.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, man. Go for it.
Oh,
What
sorry.
are you gonna say?
No, I
No,
mean,
do your thing.
are we done talking about? Because I need to admonish you if you haven't seen this next movie.
What does that mean?
I need to I need to severely chastise you or downgrade you or like say negative. I need to correct you severely. I guess chastise.
Okay.
Yeah. Admonish
Well,
is the same thing.
Well, what movie?
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
I've never heard of it.
Severe admonishment.
Severe punishment. Butch
Severe-
Cassidy and the what?
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance
the
Kid is one of the
Sundance
most
Kid.
iconic westerns of all time. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid came out in 1969. Stars Paul Newman and Robert Redford in their primes too. Like these dudes, and it's based on a true story. And they were kind of like they were outlaws, but they were like nice dudes too. And it has that iconic moment when they're getting chased by some lawmen and they're on a cliff above a river, and he's like, "We got to jump," and the other guy's like, I can't swim." He's like, "What, are you kidding me? The fall is probably going to kill you."
Well, you know why I haven't seen it, Izzy? It's because it came out in '69, and I'm a millennial, and I refuse to watch old movies because I don't care about them.
That's right. And well, you should not, because nothing cool or noteworthy ever happened before you were born.
Yeah, no, not at all.
It's not.
Nothing
It's
historical.
it's-
Nothing cool came out before 1995. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's always weird saying that I was born in '95.
No, it's a
But no,
classic,
this
man.
looks cool, man.
It's
I'm
just
sure it's on my list. My very, 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 very long list of movies to watch after discussing them on this podcast.
Listen, man, you don't have an excuse. Every time we talk, it seems like you've watched another couple of movies. So you're
I'm catching up. It doesn't help that every time we do an episode, it's literally about a completely different thing.
based on my severe admonishment.
Yeah, but I mean, what's you said? So it's these two actors in their prime. What makes it? And it's a true story. What's the synopsis of the movie? Like, what makes the true story so compelling to make it into a movie?
It's a good question. Now I'm trying hard to remember.
Oh, you're chastising me. You can't even remember what the movie's about.
Well, all I know is that raindrops keep falling on my head. Right? They blow up a train car. Like in the beginning, I think one of the things they're doing is they're trying to blow open a money cart on a train.
Yeah.
And instead of like blowing the door open, they just blow up the entire train car.
Yeah, that works. That works.
And I think the part of it is like they do all these daring escapes, and then at the very, very end, they are holed up in a place, and they're just surrounded. They're surrounded. I think they try to escape to Bolivia, but they get cornered. And
where does this take place? If they're like
it's
just casually going
I think
to Bolivia?
Wyoming. It's Wyoming in the early 1900s. Yeah.
Oh, that's easy. That's an easy travel, Bolivia to Wyoming. Wyoming to Bolivia. Not bad. Not a bad escape route.
I like how in a lot of westerns, if you pay attention, a lot of their escape plans was to go south into like South America.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that people in South America got tired of them doing.
Wait, this is gonna be a stupid question, man. Bolivia's in South America. I thought it was European.
Bolivia? No, I think it's
What? No, where is Bolivia?
Oh yeah, it's no. Okay, you made me to question myself. No, it's in South America. It's right next to Peru and Brazil, Chile, Paraguay,
God.
Bolivia.
I tend to think I'm really good at geography because like I've been to so many places. But man, Bolivia in Latin America?
It sounds European. It's not your fault.
It sounds like Eastern European, like part of the Soviet Union.
You just got to think cocaine, because like pure Bolivian. Like I'm sure that's been in a couple movies where it's like, I get that 100% pure Bolivian.
What? That's to me, it's all Colombian, but I'm no expert. But damn, dude, yeah, I'm just not even focused on the movie anymore. I'm just kind of beating myself up that I thought that Bolivia was in Europe.
I didn't severely admonish you for not knowing where Bolivia was, just for Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Just for Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Well, it's on the roster, man. But let's move on to this movie, which I actually have seen.
Oof, what a good one to see!
And it's a two-parter, True Grit.
Oh, True Grit.
Yeah, True Grit. I mean, it's not when I say two-part. It has obviously there's a remake of it, and there's the original True Grit.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the remake just because it's a little. That's the last one that I've seen. Like, I've seen the remake before I saw the. I'm sorry, closer to. I can't talk right now. The sickness is getting to my brain.
No.
That's what happens, folks, when we try to produce a product.
Yeah, not at our peak.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I actually have not seen the original. I've never seen the John Wayne one where he plays Rooster Cogburn. No, but I love the remake, and that's the first time you hear. It's the first time you hear Haley see Haley Steinfeld, who has since become a really famous actress in her own right.
Yeah, and she's obviously in child form in that movie, right?
Yes, she is not her. She's not in her final form.
Yeah. Well, I love Jeff Bridges as Rooster Cogburn because he's just such a dirty, like just gunslinger, and I love how the entire time. I mean, I don't think movies put it in perspective of like how long it took to like go from point A to point B back then.
Mm-hmm.
So like you needed to just either be someone that could talk for a long time about like random stuff. And I just like how he's like, and that's how I met my third wife. Yeah, but Rooster Cogburn, he's a U.S. Marshal, for those of you that haven't seen the movie. And also, I'm trying. The only way I always, Matt Damon,
yeah.
That's the only way I can remember Matt Damon's name is if I say it in that type of voice. Yeah, and then Matt Damon plays a Texas Ranger. And he's hired by Haley Stanfield's character because this convict killed her father, and he hires Jeff Bridges' character, Rooster Cogburn, and Matt Damon.
She's looking to hire him. Yeah, she's looking
to hire him to go pursue this guy because obviously he killed her family or her father. But yeah, she has a really cool character development in the story, like just being exposed to these two ruffians.
Yeah.
Which honestly don't get along because didn't they like fight on opposite ends of the war?
I think they might have, yeah. And like they like kind of bicker like an old couple too. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, they do. And Matt Damon thinks the Texas Rangers are like the hottest thing since sliced bread. And Rooster Cock, go for it.
Oh, it's got Josh Brolin in it too. I totally forgot that he was in this. A very young looking Josh Brolin.
Oh yeah, he plays the bad guy that they're going after.
Yeah.
And they make him look terrible. He's got like this huge ass like mark on his face, and he's just like dirty. What's his name again in that movie?
Tom Chaney.
Tom Chaney. You come with me, Mr. Chaney, otherwise I'm gonna shoot this pistol right at you. You ever use a gun before, little lady? Yeah. No, that's a good movie, man. True Grit the name shows it because, Rooster Cogburn's he's like, the only way to survive out here is grit.
Yeah, and she's got it too. That's what I like about her character. Is she's like 12 years old or whatever, and she's like traveling on her own, and she's like super headstrong, in the way that she deals with people. And then even at the end, she falls down in that pit, and then she gets bit by that snake. Oh, yeah. Well, listen, it's
the movie's been out for a long time.
Yeah, we're past the statute of limitations. It came out in 2010.
Yeah, so it's 12 years old. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Now she gets bit by the rattlesnake. She ends up losing her arm.
Yeah.
And as an old lady, she's going to see Cogburn.
Yeah, she ends up burying him. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
No, dude, yeah. It is kind of a sad, it doesn't end happy, that's for sure.
It's kind of a melancholy ending.
Yeah. The only part of that movie that's super cringy is when he has to shoot the horse because he literally, when she gets bit, he rides until the horse literally runs until it dies.
Yeah. And
then he puts it down and carries her the rest of the way to try to save her.
Oh, that's such a cool part. It tugs at the heartstrings. Because he's like this bitter old guy, and you think he doesn't really care about anybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, he does care.
He does. He has a little love bone in him. He's not just a rusty old marshal that doesn't care about anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. No, True Grit is a really good Western. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. We pretty much gave you all the nitty gritty. It's still good. Watching Matt Damon and Jeff Bridges interact is comedic.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. Well, what do you got, man? You pick the next one.
Well, I actually just added it to the list because I was thinking about it. I didn't see it, but have you seen Unforgiven?
Unforgiven.
Clint Eastwood.
Clint is. Oh, is that a newer one?
No, it's an older one. It's like from the '90s, so it was a little before your time.
Because there was just a new Clint Eastwood. Oh, the new one's called. Oh, never mind. No, what is this? That's in French. But wasn't there a brand new, like kind of movie that came out with Clint Eastwood playing like a cowboy within the last year?
That's a good question.
Here, no, you start talking about it.
Yeah, you look it up. Yeah. No, Unforgiven is it's kind of the anti-western. It is a western, but it doesn't, like, a lot of westerns, it kind of glorifies the western life and lifestyle. Everyone's very clean, or sometimes it's like, the hero's riding off into the sunset and all that kind of stuff. But it's Clint Eastwood plays a guy who Bill Money, and when he was younger, he was just the worst kind of person. Like, he was an outlaw, and he was just he was just a horrible guy. And then he met a woman, and she cleaned him up, and he left that whole life behind. But then it's years later, and she has passed on, and he's got 2 kids, and he's kind of on this failing farm. They can't, like, keep it all together, and they're running out of money. So he hears about this young guy comes, and the Schofield kid, yeah. And he says, "Hey, I'm going." There were these guys that cut up a prostitute. They cut her face up and stuff like that. And the prostitutes all got together, and they put out money to kill the guy that did it, to kill the 2 guys that were involved. He's like, I know you were a bad dude. Everybody knows about you. And Clint Eastwood's like, no, man, that's not who I am anymore. But so the kid leaves, and then and then Clint Eastwood changes his mind. He's like, I just I can't do this anymore. I got to take care of my kids. So he decides to do it, and he gets his buddy Morgan Freeman. Ned Logan.
Morgan Freeman's in it.
Yeah, and they end up going towards the town, and Gene Hackman plays the sheriff of the town, and he is like, he's not a good dude either. Like, there's hardly any good people. Morgan Freeman's character is pretty good, but yeah, they go to do it, and it's just like, it doesn't like glorify any kind of death or anything like that. Like where they shoot one of the guys, they kind of shoot him like long range. They shoot him in the gut, and he's like in the canyon, kind of cornered, and he's like crying out, to his buddies, and he's like crying. He's like, I don't want to die, and stuff. And so, they got it's just pretty brutal. There's a gunfight at the end that is very unique in that it's like a close quarters gun battle, and with Clint Eastwood and a bunch of dudes in like a bar and stuff, and it's just pretty amazing, And there's a famous line from the movie where, the Schofield kid, he kills somebody, and then he realizes, he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like it doesn't feel good. I thought I would like it, but I don't.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's a hell of a thing killing a man. You take everything he's got and everything he's ever going to have. I'm getting choked up just thinking about it. But
no, don't cry. It might just be the sickness, but
yeah, I'm just weak emotionally from the sickness in my body.
Yeah.
But it's brutal, man. But it's good. If you like westerns, it's kind of one of those iconic ones,
Okay, I'll check that one out. Unforgiven. The movie that I was thinking about came out last year. Is called Cry Macho.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Netflix one, right?
I don't know if it's is it Netflix? I don't know, but it takes place in 1978, which obviously isn't the Wild West. It's just in rural Mexico on their way back to Texas. So I guess it's just like that kind of Western environment. And he's a horse breeder, so it's probably on horseback. That's probably why I thought so. I don't know. I see a cowboy hat, and I instantly think Western. But yeah, man, Unforgiven. I gotta check that one out.
Yeah, it's a good one, dude. It's rough.
Dude, one that I actually, to be honest, growing up, I thought it was super cool. But then, like, I rewatched it, and I realized there's a lot wrong with it recently. And that's The Quick and the Dead.
Oh, The Quick and the Dead. Sam Raimi, Sharon Stone. Yeah, a young, skinny Russell Crowe.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Everyone was just young in this movie.
Super young. I mean, it came out a while ago, but for those of you that haven't seen it, it's pretty much it's about like gunslinging, like the Mexican standoff, if I can say that still.
Yeah, there's like a
Just
competition that this town has had.
yeah, quick draw competition.
Yeah.
And the like quote unquote mayor, like the corrupt mayor of the town,
Also played by Gene Hackman.
Yeah, it's Gene Hackman's character, and he's just kind of an asshole, but he's like a really good gunslinger, and he'll always put on this yearly gunslinging like quick draw competition, and the winner gets a bunch of money. But Russell Crowe is like, you know, an ex criminal that used to run with this gang, but he's like a born again Christian and becomes a preacher, and he totally won't pick up a gun because it's morally wrong. But obviously he gets thrown in the competition, and the only way to survive is to kind of, you know, give up his newfound morals.
Yep.
But the part that's like wrong with it is that I didn't realize that like Leonardo DiCaprio is like a child in this movie, and the main character is what's her name? What's the actress?
Sharon Stone.
Yeah, Sharon Stone like bangs him.
Oh, that's like, right. They do sleep together.
Yeah, they sleep together, and you're like, Leonardo must be 14, 15, maybe pushing 16.
They didn't have they didn't have statutory rape laws back then, so it was totally legal.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, he was just really mature for his age.
That's right.
But no, I mean, obviously it doesn't show like a whole like lovemaking scene, but you know it happens because like they wake up naked in the same bed after a night of drinking. So yeah, I kind of remember that scene after rewatching it. I was like,
There are so many.
There were so many, like, you know, there was a couple handsome guys, like that Spanish guy that she could have, like, you know, went a couple rounds with, but she chose Leonardo, and I thought that was a little messed up. But it's an entertaining movie, just if you like the just like different Wazoo characters of the West.
Yep.
They have like a bunch of people, like they have a Native American that's like thinks he's impenetrable to bullets. What is his name? Running horse cannot be killed by a bullet.
Yep.
Or something like that. And then you have Leonardo, who's like, you know, the fastest gun, like the kid. He's like Billy the Kid, kind of like. And then you just have a bunch of weird characters that just go at it with guns.
Yeah, Lance Henriksen's he's like a showman. He's got like he's Ace Hanlon. I love Lance Henriksen, but like. Just a bunch of different dudes. Like Keith David's in it. We love our Keith David performances. Sergeant Cantrell. So it's really stylized filmmaking because Sam Raimi did it, and that was kind of when Sam Raimi was just it's 100% Sam Raimi. So you got the weird like camera angles and the switch, you know, the quick pans and the zoom ins and all that kind of stuff. So it's got this real kind of
super cheesy. It's a super cheesy Western. Like it has everything that you think of a Western, like the whip noises, like the crazy zooms.
Yeah,
like the standoff. Yeah, the pew pew. But it's like a modern day one. So that's a really entertaining one. If you can get behind like the minor, you know, with a full grown woman. But maybe like, you know, I don't know. There's no way around that. It's weird. I tried to be like, well, maybe if you're into that, but if you are into that, I'm gonna come find you and hurt you. That is not okay. But yeah, man, Quick and the Dead, that's a super entertaining one, and you have a lot on this list.
There's a lot, dude. I mean, we could make 2 episodes out of this, which you probably could do later on. But
all right, what's next on the list?
You know what? It's hard. It's kind of hard to choose because there's so many.
Well, how about this one? Because we actually got the chance to shoot some of the pistols on Shift Fire that were featured in this movie. 310 to Yuma, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, 310 to Yuma. Russell Crowe, Christian Bale. Well, this guy's been in Russell Crowe has had a fair share of westerns.
He has. Yeah, I mean, he looks, you know, Russell Crowe just looks rugged, and he likes to fight around the world and stuff.
Yeah.
So
and the
like,
more the
not just around the world, but at different time periods in the world.
The heftier he gets, the more rugged he looks. The more ruggedly handsome he looks.
Yes. So yeah, 310 to Yuma. I mean, we got the, if you haven't checked it out on Shift Fire, we do a Lethal Antiquities where we shoot the dueling pistols, right? Or what are they called? Schofields?
Yeah, the Schofields,
Schofield pistols. Yeah, and they were so fun to shoot, I'll be honest. Because they were just like shooting a pea shooter. Like they didn't have any recoil.
Yeah. And
they were single action. So like you had to recock every time with your thumb. And we got to dual wield them and shoot them at some pizza pies, which are just, they're just 6-inch steel plates, but I like to call them little personal pizza pies. Yeah, they were super fun, man. And it just so happened that those were the exact pistols that were used in the movie.
That's super cool. These two guys are.
It was
These
super
two
cool.
guys are. I can't think. They're great actors. They work well on screen together. Like because Christian Bale's kind of embittered, you know, and he's kind of. He's almost kind of given up on life because he doesn't have. He's got like I think he has an amputated foot too. I think in the movie.
Missing part of his right leg.
That's right. Yeah, and so he agrees to escort this prisoner played by Russell Crowe. And so like basically it's like a battle of the wills throughout the whole movie, and his son comes along, I think, too, Christian Bale's son, and it's.
Well, I mean, Christian Bale is just like one of those hard-hitting actors. I mean, I haven't. What do you have any movies with Christian Bale that you just don't like?
I don't. You know what? I can't say yes, but I don't think I'll ever watch The Machinist because I don't want to hate my life.
Oh, you haven't seen The Machinist?
I just don't want to hate life.
I've seen it a couple.
A couple times.
I mean, he just goes crazy in the movie, and I can appreciate the fact that like he's one of those actors that really goes after it in all aspects, not just like he's like a method actor. So he lost so much weight for that movie. The Machinist, and it's like disgusting watching it. You're like, oh my god, he's so skinny. Like, obviously there's people that have really high metabolisms, but the way that he was able to just like put his body through that's gnarly. Because he was like straight Joaquin Phoenix in the Joker skinny.
Yeah,
maybe even skinnier.
Yeah, man, he was. That was. And then I don't know what the course of events was, but. He might have done that, and then he might have gone from that to like start training for Batman. You know?
So that's just like a crazy evolution because obviously he put on a lot of weight for Batman.
Yeah, he was freaking buff.
Yeah, he was buff, not like that weenie Robert Pattinson.
He did all right.
That could be an episode on its own. We just talk about all the Batmans and rank.
We could rank all the Batmans because there's been a ton.
Yeah, but that's not. There is a ton. That could be an intent. Let us know if you'd want to see that episode.
The Batman.
The Batman.
The Batman.
This is the Western.
Yeah, this is the Western one.
Yeah. These are the Westerns. Yeah, so it's okay. Maybe there was a Western Batman in the multiverse.
There's a Japanese Batman where he gets teleported back in time by the Joker, and the Joker's there, and it's like Batman Ninja or something like. It's an animated movie.
Or is that like Back to the Future?
Yeah, it's something like I kind of want to see it because the animation style looks pretty awesome. But, anyway, Batman's been all around the world. I think in some of the lore he has trained in Japan for some of his, or maybe it's China, I forget, like, where he's trained at.
Maybe. I mean, the League of Shadows is all ninjutsu stuff, which is derived from Japan.
Right.
So.
Right.
But obviously he's in, what country in the original one? Oh, we're going off the rails. Anyways, back to Western.
Yes.
3:10 to Yuma, and he's being pursued by Russell Crowe's gang.
That's right, yeah. And then kind of at the end, Russell Crowe kind of has a bit of a change of heart, right?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen this movie in such a long time, dude.
I think he does. Yeah, I think he does, because his gang, and his gang's pretty brutal too. They're on the warpath to get him, and then at the very end, he's like, "No, I ain't going with you," and like that turns into this shootout, I think. And
before they get on the train, right? They're waiting for the train and like the shootouts in the town.
Yep. And then Christian Bale gets shot, you know, and then I think Russell Crowe gives Christian Bale's son like a bag of money. He's like, "Hey, take this bag of money."
Yeah, here's some money for your troubles. Yeah, easy way around that. Sorry for your loss, but here's some money.
I'll just steal more.
Yeah. You know something for Westerns that I found really interesting, because I learned about it on this podcast, but that is the spaghetti Western phase, where they would, instead of shooting in the West, like in the States, they took it to Italy, right?
I think Italy, yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense why it's called spaghetti.
That's kind of where Clint Eastwood really got his start and became a star, you know?
Yeah, which is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, right? And then For a Few Dollars More, and then Fistful of Dollars?
Yep. Yeah, Fistful of Dollars was the first one. Fistful of Dollars was actually a remake of Yojimbo, which was a Japanese Akira Kurosawa film, which they did that a couple times. They did that with The Magnificent Seven and A Fistful of Dollars. Yojimbo, the Japanese movie, was about a masterless samurai, a ronin, who kind of comes into town and there are these two big houses kind of vying for power and going, and he kind of plays them against each other, and then he gets betrayed by the both of them, and then he ends up, yeah.
Well, the whole thing with those movies that I'm like not a big like it didn't draw me into it. You know why? Because they are straight. They're dubbed. I hate dubbed movies.
That was the style back then too. They did that on purpose.
Yeah, I just can't get behind it. I can't get behind them. It makes it hard to follow. And like, cause it. I mean, did they record it in Italian?
No, what they do is they record it without sound, and then they do the dialogue in post. They always did it that way, I think.
Interesting. Yeah, I just can't get behind it because like some words would match up, like Clint Eastwood's would match up, and then like the other guys they wouldn't match up, and like obviously it throws me off, man. Like even on like Netflix shows that like the international films that they have
that are dubbed,
that they dub over. Yeah, I'd rather just watch it in the original language. Like what's that one that came out? I that was the only dubbed movie that I actually liked was the it was like that prison movie. About like the different levels.
Oh yeah.
And like there's the table that had a bunch of food.
Yeah, like platform or something like that, or
the platform. Yeah, that was the only dub movie I like got behind because I mean the message was like super cool. And but yeah, speaking of dub movies, back to this thing. But yeah, I know Chris would go crazy because he's a big fan of these movies, right?
Oh yeah, Chris is he's our resident movie connoisseur. He's seen all the classics and stuff like that. So, have you ever seen just as an aside, have you ever watched Deadwood?
Deadwood? No, I don't think
It's an HBO series. It's a television series.
Interesting.
It's a Western.
Television series.
Yeah. Oh. It's about this town called Deadwood. Yeah, and everybody curses all the time.
I know. I like how specifically in the outline you put the word phrase, quote unquote, is used a lot.
Yep, pretty much. And the dialogue is partly what separates. The performances are amazing, but the dialogue is what separates this show from other shows or Westerns. It's like Shakespeare. Like, it's so stylized that you really have to be paying attention to understand what people are saying, except for when they, curse.
Do I need subtitles?
I don't know, man.
Well, I mean, that wouldn't help.
Well,
wouldn't help just
you went to college, so I think
I went
okay.
to college. I can decipher what they're saying. Hey, I went to college. Okay? There's nothing I can't figure out.
But no, a great series.
Everybody knows that college is an actual level, a measurement of true intelligence.
That's right. If you have a degree, then instantly you automatically have a certain level of intelligence.
Of course. That's why we know that John Goddard has like a PhD.
That's right.
Because he's a genius.
That's right. That's all we know. He went to college because of all the stuff he sends us.
I know. Shout out to you, John. We'll continue to use you as a great example for just pure measure of intelligence. But yeah, Deadwood. Is there like a plot to it, or is it just you have to kind of?
Well, it's a series, so the kind of the plot continues. It's basically like you got like the sheriff in town. He was in Justified. It's kind of a Western, but not really. Timothy Olyphant.
Justified's kind of like it's just like Yellowstone, right? It's just really cowboy.
Yeah, it's modern day, but it's like it's like a Western.
Yeah, modern day Western.
Yeah, and then you got Ian McShane, who's a bar owner, and you got a rival bar owner shows up. So it kind of develops. It's like a boom town. Like they just discovered silver there or something like that, silver or gold. So it's really about like all the stuff that goes on. It's just got crazy characters,
Interesting. And that's HBO?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, David Milch.
I'll have to check that one out.
Titus Welliver from Bosch. He's in it.
Bosch and Bosch.
But yeah, Deadwood.
Well, that sounds cool. I'll have to check that. Add that to the very, 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 very long.
You can put it on a separate list of just television shows.
Yeah, that obviously I have one for movies, which is gonna take till the rest of my life is complete, and then I have my TV show, which is my afterlife viewing. But yeah, man. Do you know what? You mentioned like the Magnificent Seven earlier, and that reminded me of. Have you seen the Hateful Eight?
No, I haven't. No, man.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah, that's a Western, and it's a Quentin Tarantino
That's right. A Quentin Tarantino. Any Quentin Tarantino genre is going to be pretty hardcore, I bet.
Yeah, and obviously you have Kurt Russell in it.
Dude.
And Samuel L. Jackson. They are both bounty hunters, and I mean that's a very, if you're a very non-cursing, love great themes of that involve just good, you probably will hate this movie because there's a lot of racial words used. There's a lot of it's a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah. It's
like you can expect just over the top like racial stuff because Samuel L. Jackson's a bounty hunter, but he's obviously, not a white guy, and we back then it was kind of a big deal.
Flung it around like nobody's business.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I like it because it'll show like the same scenario from different perspectives of the characters.
Yeah.
And you have like Walton Goggins in it, which honestly is in so many Western
Walton
movies.
Goggins is the man. Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, he's the man. He's in it. And like Jennifer Jason Leigh plays Daisy, what's her entire name? Daisy Dahmer or something like that.
Ooh, Dahmer.
Is that what her character's name is? But yeah, they're trying to bring her in because she's got a big warrant, and like she has this big crew that's trying to rescue her, and it's like even Channing Tatum's in it.
Dude.
And like it's got a killer cast. You have like Tim Roth, Kurt Russell, Samuel Jackson, Walton Goggins, Channing Tatum, Michael Madsen, just like so many different people are in it.
Zoe Bell, the mainstay with Quentin Tarantino movies. Do you know who she is?
Yeah. Let me see. Oh yeah, I'm looking at a picture of her right now. Yeah, she's in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just it's got a killer cast and the story's really good. It's just they're trying to save that Daisy Dahmer who's like in Kurt Russell's position or in her possession because he's a bounty hunter and they're going to turn her in, but they like stage the rescue at this like old inn that is they're snowed in, and they all end up there. And it's really funny. There's a scene in the movie that they have a priceless. You ever heard of like Martin guitars?
No, it's like a pretty
They're
vintage
like
guitar.
Yeah, so they're a big. There's like Martin and Taylor, which are like some of the biggest like acoustic guitar manufacturers in the instrument like world or the music industry, and they had a priceless Martin like vintage guitar, like one of one that was on the set, and Kurt Russell was improving and didn't know that this was like a one of a kind, like priceless guitar. And in the movie, nobody knew he was going to do this, but he picks up the guitar and just smashes it to bits.
No.
And oh my God, just could you imagine you're like Kurt Russell and you just like we're in character and you're trying to make the scene good and you just destroy a piece of like priceless history that nobody told you about?
Oh my gosh. Why didn't they tell him, or why didn't they must have had a stunt guitar or something like that.
Must have, but yeah, it was one for one, priceless, worth millions of dollars, and like he just smashes it to bits. So if that's not reason to watch this movie, I don't know what'll get you. But yeah, no, Hateful Eight is a really good one. I recommend it. It's a good one. It's a little long, but I think the story is really good. It's a good Tarantino movie.
I got to check it out sometime.
Yeah, you should.
I kind of missed it when it came to the
there's
theaters.
feet in it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's on Netflix. It's definitely on Netflix. You can check it out. But yeah, I don't know if there's any feet shots because it's a Tarantino. But because we all know. We all know.
Unashamedly.
We don't have to say it. Unashamedly, yeah. Tarantino's a foot guy.
Well,
but yeah, that's a good one, man.
Well, we could keep talking about Westerns until the end of time. We'll definitely have to do another episode on this sometime because there's even some on the list we didn't get to. But what do you say we move on to the fan question, man?
Yeah, dude, let's do it. And it looks like this fan question comes to us from Donovan from our email. That's the pcfmpodcast@gmail.com. And Donovan wants to know, if you could fight in any war in history, what war would you fight in? And I think we answered something
similar. Yeah, but we can do it again.
Maybe even shift. Yeah, we can do it again. It's not on the blacklist yet.
Yeah,
That's
not the asked and answered. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not an asked and answered. But I don't know, man. Maybe it's just because I'm a war junkie. So, like, I think Vietnam would be such a cool war to be in.
Really, man? Even with, the hot jungle, man? I just don't like being in humid places.
Yeah, I don't know. I think jungle warfare is such an interesting... It changes everything, you know? It's like... I'm like reading... Lately, I've been reading a lot of jungle, training manuals and jungle like doctrine, and it's a different animal. And it's one of the, I think it's just because I haven't been in that environment before. Like, I think the closest I've been in is swamp, and that was obviously in ranger school, and that was a nightmare. But I think jungle would just be super cool. And back then, like Vietnam, there was obviously less of a what's the word I'm trying to think of, priority on like discipline, if you will, just like on uniforms. Like, you could basically run around like it's the Wild West. There you go. In Vietnam. And I think that because I was never I was a terrible garrison soldier. Like, people who, are only concerned about, dress right dress and like looking spick and span and everything. I just wasn't really about that. I was more like just focused on being really proficient at my job as an infantryman. That sometimes my creases and my uniforms weren't the cleanest, or all right dress. When they were, but I was more focused on whether my boots weren't bloused. I'd be training. I wouldn't be focusing on like the things that I didn't think would matter, which we were still in wartime a little bit. So like, I don't know. I wasn't huge into the garrison type mindset. I was more into the war fighting mindset. So Vietnam for me would be cool. I think so.
All right, man.
What about you, dude?
For me, I would have to say the initial invasion of Afghanistan, like the first special forces and CIA teams that like went in there,
like 12
strong, yeah, because that was just kind of I feel like that was kind of a high point in American military history, and like everything went off so well. I think I remember reading like they had a year to accomplish their mission, and they did it in 3 months. Like they toppled the Taliban government in 3 months.
Just on horseback.
Yeah, on horseback
with the Northern Alliance.
With the Northern Alliance, and mission drift and all that kind of stuff. 20 years later, it's didn't end well, thanks to certain people. But back then, man, that was literally what Special Forces was made for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. I mean, they did it. And speaking of 12 Strong again, I just rewatched that movie like 2 weeks ago. And yeah, no, what a great film. I mean, obviously there's like some things that you're just like, hey, but just the premise of it was just embedding, like it was exactly what Special Forces was supposed to do, just like you said. And I mean, I think a part of this question is where do you want, what war would you want to fight in, but what unit would you be in? Like, obviously, we would be with, I think the context is we would be with the units that we served with in these war times.
Right.
So, yeah. But, yeah, dude, that's a good choice. Yeah, the initial Afghanistan invasion, that would be a cool one.
Well, we got a game, man. I don't see one for me.
We do. Yep, I'm the game master. But thanks, Donovan, for that question.
Yeah, thanks,
We
Don.
hope we answered it for you, dude. Or lady named Donovan. I'm not sure.
I had a female friend named Donovan, so it could go either way.
Dude, there you go. See? All genders are welcome here. All 2,000 of them. Okay, so here we go. All right, I'm the game master, Izzy. And let me explain this out. Okay, so this game is to see how good you are. How good you are spotting, well, a game. We'll call it Hang 'em High 5. I'm just reading what Chris wrote here, so I have no idea what's going on. I'm going to say the name of a Western, and you tell me if it's a game or a movie. Good luck.
Okay,
so here's the warm-up. But you got any questions? So basically, I'm going to give you a name of a movie, and you're just going to tell me whether it is a video game or a movie.
I like it. I feel pretty good about this. I played a lot of video games, so.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm very confident then you're going to do well then. Just don't do a repeat of Star Wars.
Until I go down in flames, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so here's the warm-up. High noon.
High noon. Ooh, that's... I'm about to say it could go either way. And then I hear Chris's voice in my head say, that's the point.
That's the point. Stupid.
High noon. I'm going to say that's a movie because, I don't know, I feel like some video games have a bit more action-oriented titles. That's just a kind of a guess. But I'm going to say a movie.
Okay, well, I'm going to say you are correct.
Hey.
Yeah, with Gary, and it looks like he's putting an actor in it. I don't know if it's a director or actor, but it has Gary Cooper in it.
Oh, older movie. Okay.
Older movie. Okay, so great. You got your warm up. Let's start the nitty gritty. You
All right,
ready?
let's do it.
Okay, so this one, Dead Man.
Dead Man. Dead Man. It's pretty hardcore. That's a pretty hardcore name. Dead Man. Dead Man. Dead Man. Dead.
Say it one more time to help you out. There you go.
Dead Man. Man, it's so general. It's so funny. Well, I guess both. I guess we know that people making video games and movies really know how to make good Western names. I'm gonna say it's a video game. I feel like it's a character. It's character oriented. You're playing as the Dead Man. You're in a Western story. Dead Man is a video game.
Well, I like your thought process, but no, it is a movie, and it has Johnny Depp in it.
Oh, Johnny.
Yeah,
He has like face paint on, I think, too, in that one.
I don't know. I think that's the Lone Ranger.
Yeah. Well, he is. Yeah. We don't like to talk. He doesn't like to talk about that one.
Yeah, that was a terrible movie. Okay, so unfortunately, you are not correct, but maybe you can pick up the slack on this next one. All right, are you ready, good sir? All right, 40 guns.
40 guns. 40 guns. 40 guns. 40 guns.
Not 50.
Not 50. Not 39.
30.
Yeah.
Not 30. Yeah,
40 guns.
Not 41. 40 guns.
Gosh, I'm gonna have to say movie because I don't think I've ever heard of a video game called 40 Guns. So I'm gonna have to rely heavily on my video game knowledge. So I'm gonna say movie.
Are you sure?
Well, no, but but I got to go with my gut.
Well,
so.
Okay, well, your gut is taking you in the right direction. It is a movie.
Oh God, thank you.
And he's not giving me any actors, but it's from 1957.
Oh Lord!
So it's an older. Yeah, this is an old.
He's really reaching back for these ones.
Yeah, he's reaching for these ones because there's a few of them. I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. Okay, so cool. You got that right. You are including the warm up 2 for 1. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, moving right along. This one is called Mad Dog McCree.
Mad Dog McCree. Mad Dog
McCree.
It has kind of a funny sounding name, almost like a goofy sounding name. Mad Dog McCree. It has like a rhymey name.
Mad Dog McCree.
Yeah. So why don't I say video game? Because I feel like you're playing as Mad Dog McCree, or you're going after Mad Dog McCree. So I'm gonna say video game.
And I'm gonna say you are
Hey.
correct. So Mad Dog McCree came out in 1990. It was the first live-action Laserdisc video game.
Oh man! Oh, so it's got live action video in it and stuff.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
I just looked it up after you told me the answer. Oh, that's cool. Laserdisc video game. Mad Dog McCree. 3DO. Ooh, 3DO. PlayStation 3. That's cool. Mad Dog McCree.
Oh, very cool. All right, so there you go. So you're 3 for 1. You're doing pretty good. Let's see if you can keep it up on this next one. You ready?
Do it.
Winchester 73.
Winchester 73. So it's a gun. It's
Yeah.
a gun. That's not telling me any story. It's not telling me any character or anything like that. It's just a weapon.
It's not doing anything.
Yeah. So
It's not doing anything for you.
I'm gonna say video game because I feel like that's like a good that's like a PC game, like PC game title. So I'm gonna say video game.
Okay. Well, it sounds like your logic's pretty correct, but you were wrong.
Ah.
It is a movie, 1950.
Come on, Chris.
Yeah, I'm
gonna get you, Chris. I'm gonna get you back somehow.
Yeah, and it has Jimmy Stewart, and all Chris says is great movie.
See, that connoisseur. He's using his connoisseur skills.
Connoisseur skills. Okay. All right. So unfortunately, you're 2 for 3, but we still got 3 more. You ready for the next one?
Let's do it.
Okay. Our next title is Hard West. Not to be confused with Soft West.
Right.
Or mildly malleable West. It is Hard West.
Hard West. Hard West. I'm going to have to go movie because that sounds like a great title for a movie. And since video games have been around for the past real popular video games for the past 40 years, and I don't remember seeing Hard West at all. I'm going to have to lean on my knowledge again, so I'm going to have to say it's a movie. I'm going to say a movie made before 1930.
Okay.
Knowing Chris as I do.
Yeah. Well, should probably find something else to lean on because it is a game, my friend. It is a video game, and we're not reaching here. It's from 2015.
What?
I don't know if this is like... I need to look this one up because I haven't heard of this. Maybe it's like a mobile game.
Hard West. Oh, it's like a top-down, three-quarters kind of... Okay, it's a Steam game.
Oh, yeah. It's an OS X and Linux. For Microsoft Windows, it's like a PC game no one's ever heard of.
Oh, my gosh. Man, Chris, how do you do it?
Jeez, Chris. Yeah, Chris, how do you do it, man? Okay. Well, you're all tied up now, buddy.
All right.
But you still got two more titles to take you out of the hole here. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Second to last one, Dark Watch. One word.
Dark Watch. Dark Watch. That sounds like a video game name because I don't remember. Dark Watch makes me think of like nighttime, like vampires or monsters and stuff. Dark Watch. I'm gonna have to say video game. Let's go video game.
Well, hell yeah, dude. Whatever hunch you got, stick with it because yes, it is a game from 2005, and not only did you say it was a game, but you also nailed it with the vampire thing. It says. The game mixes Western horror and steampunk genres, telling the story of Jericho Cross, an outlaw gunfighter in the late 19th century American frontier who has been turned into a vampire and forcibly recruited by the titular monster hunting secret organization to fight against supernatural forces. So you hit it right on the head.
All right.
There you go. All right. But we're not going to be riding high because you still got one left.
Oh, no.
All right. Final one, my man. You ready? Let's do it. Dead Man's Hand.
Dead Man's Hand. Dead Man's Hand. This one. This one sounds familiar, actually. But I don't know why, though. Yeah, sorry for all the gas, folks. That's the sickness going through me. Yeah, Dead Man's Hand. Right. Dead Man's Hand. I'm gonna say video game. I'm thinking I have an image in my mind of like a bunch of cards with like a hole through it. Or something. So I'm going to say video game. That's my final answer.
You are correct.
Yay!
It is a game from 2004. Pause for cough.
Huh?
Yikes. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Is that a card game?
Yes. I don't know. It doesn't say. But it's a game from 2004. But it's also... a 2007 movie.
Oh.
But the movie wasn't a Western. So, you're correct. You got
it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an Xbox game. Okay.
Xbox. Very cool, man. Well, way to finish strong.
What did I get? What was the balance?
What was it? 5-3? 5 out of... Yeah, for 8 of these.
Came out on top.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, 5 out of 3. Not bad. Way to finish strong. Good job.
Thanks,
Izzy.
man. Good game.
Good game. Better episode. Wild West, folks. Thanks for bearing with us. Izzy and I appreciate it. We are sicker than, doing a kickflip off of a very big swimming pool that doesn't have water. That's pretty sick.
That's
right?
pretty sick.
That is pretty sick. But yeah, thanks for bearing with us through this episode of PCFM. If you want to interact with us, send us an email to pcfmpodcast@gmail.com. If you got any questions or just want to say what up, Izzy and I read them all. Keep it up, and we will catch you on the next one. Cue music.